I was born in Perth, Australia. My dad was born in Sicily, so Italy. My mum was born in Australia, but her parents were born in Calabria, so South Italy as well. So Italian background, but born and bred in West Australia. Good old Aussie. A question I get asked a lot, how do I pronounce my last name? So as I touched on earlier, it is an Italian last name. So the real way to say it, I guess, or the traditional way is ricciardo. But growing up in Australia, Italian isn't our first language, not by any means. So, the easiest way to, I guess, pronounce it and what felt most normal was Riccardo. So I've always said Riccardo. But when we go to Italy, I do expect them to say ricciardo, and that's okay. Pretty terribly. I do sing in the shower. I love music, so I love to listen to music, and inevitably I end up singing. I've got a very good kind of memory, so I remember lyrics and stuff very well. But well, I did say one day I will get singing lessons, not to be heard, but just for myself, just for my own kind of peace of mind, so I'm not terrible to listen to myself. Yes, unfortunately, yes. It's funny, I sometimes look at myself and I'm like, wow, how did I end up with so many tattoos? Because I hated needles as a kid. I hated getting flu injections and all that. And here I am now with, I don't know, I think more than 20 tattoos. So, it is what it is. I got some on my leg, my feet, my hands, my arms. But yeah, I would say I'm getting close to a stop now. I probably won't get too many more, I'd say. So why am I called the honey badger? It's a little bit of a spirit animal, I guess. So I basically, in a nutshell, I feel I resemble well with a honey badger. It's from the outside, if you don't know the honey badger, it's fairly easy on the eyes to look at. Looks like a pretty nice, cute, normal animal, but when you try to take what's his or take something from it or put it back up against the wall, it fights back, and it stands for what it believes in, I guess. Stands for what it feels is his or hers. And there you go. So that's me, honey badger. Cute and then fierce. I'm number 3 because it was the very first number I was given in my very first ever go-kart race. Back then, you signed up with a go-kart club, and they gave you a number to race with, and it was number 3. And at the time, our house number was number 3. I always was fascinated more with single-digit numbers. I liked it. Not a superstition, it's just what I liked. And I was a big fan of Dale Earnhardt, a NASCAR driver who was number 3, and he kind of made that number famous. So at least in America, but it traveled all the way to Australia. So number 3 is just mine. It's been mine from day one. I mean, English, obviously, even though sometimes not very well. But Italian. I lived in Italy. I have an Italian background, but I didn't really learn it so much as a kid. It was more when I lived in Italy for 2 years for motor racing. So I picked it up then, and I've held on to some of it. So I don't speak fluent by any means, but I certainly speak enough Italian to feel I can get by. And fairly confidently. I'll pick up other words like words of French, German, Brazilian, but not enough to say I speak another language. So English and some Italian. Being into it and actually doing it. I've sadly only surfed, I think, 3 times in my life. I grew up 5 minutes from the beach, and there was waves. It was a surf beach. Friends from school would go, before school nearly every morning. But I was actually scared of sharks, and that fear was put into me from a pretty young age. So I would go to the beach, but I would normally just sit on the sand and not do much in the water. But I did get to surf. Something just fell, but it's all right. I did get to surf recently. and I loved it. And some of my friends are professional surfers, and they're awesome, and they live a great life. And yeah, maybe I'll do it a bit more when I retire. I started racing. Well, my dad raced. He was always passionate about cars, and he wasn't. No disrespect to my old man, but he wasn't professional or anything. But I think I just had it in the blood, from him. I grew up at racetracks on weekends, watching him go around, and yeah, I was just fascinated by the speed, the noise, the smell, all of it. So yeah, I got into a go-kart when I was about 8 years old.